In the midnight darkness and silence of the Black House, Janus opens his eyes. The storm has stopped. It is quiet. As he looks around in the darkness of this room, he sees something sitting at the foot of his bed. Its body is small, maybe 2 feet, but its legs are long, dangling over the edge but not touching the ground. And as he looks at it, it's like it becomes aware that he is looking, and it turns its head, and he sees 2 black voids where eyes should be, and a wide black toothless grin. It can't move a muscle. This thing turns its entire body. It moves its legs, lifting its knees high, moves its legs onto the bed. Its arms stretch out, 4 of them, and it starts moving up the bed on all 6 limbs towards Janus. Janus feels the pressure as its limbs push into his body. Heavy. He can't move. This thing moves up his body onto his chest. He feels the weight of it pushing down on him. Is there anything you'd like to try to do? This weight is almost pushing the air from your lungs.
Well, I can't move, correct?
Correct.
Can I do I have the knowledge, skill, lore. Is there any way... It seems like I might not be able to learn very much. What would my difficulty be to try and do a lore check on this individual?
How about a perception check instead?
Okay. I do... That is one of my career skills.
And you have a rank.
That is right.
Let's do a hard perception check.
Okay. Click on my guy.
Don't forget, you have 1 story point, and I have 1 story point.
I don't think I have any talents that are gonna do anything with perception. This is 1 yellow, 2 greens versus 3 purples, and I could flip on it.
Yes, you could.
To notice something. Is it worth flipping to notice something? Alright, let's flip. So I have to turn a green to a yellow. Okay. 0 successes and 1 advantage. So glad I flipped.
Good night so far. Okay. You feel this intense pressure as this thing pushes down on your chest. Your breath coming out cold. You can see it in front of you. And it seems to suck it into that black void of a mouth. As your breath is pushed out, it breathes it in. And as quickly as it started moving up the bed, it turns its head towards the hall and scuttles off of your chest. You can breathe again. Suddenly, you still can't move. And you hear it tapping on the floor as it goes to your door and out into the hallway. And you hear a scream. And you wake up. The rain is still pouring outside. Not as heavy as it was when you came in, but torrential.
Well, geez, that's a dream you hope you don't have more than 1 time. Boy, where's that powder? See if this stuff really works. And that scream, I hope that wasn't, was I dreaming? And he's gonna relight his candle.
Oh, it's daytime. It's morning.
Oh, it's morning.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought I woke up in the middle of the night.
It's gray out. It's barely light out. The northern light mixed with the sun lower in the horizon in the autumn means that it's not super bright out. He guesses that it's maybe 8, 9 in the morning. Slept in a little bit.
He's definitely gonna take advantage of a bathroom with a tub.
As he gets up and out of bed, he feels like his chest hurts. Not his chest, maybe his lungs hurt.
Boy, it must be this damp air.
And he heads to the bathroom and cleans himself up. They've got warm water in the bathtub, which maybe not all inns have. And he steps out in his towel, goes back to his room, gets his clothes together, and gets dressed up for the day. He buttons his last button. There's the soft knock on the door.
Is that you, Norman?
Yes, it's Norman, Master Bertelson.
Harder to sneak up on me with the door in between us. Good morning, Norman.
Good morning, Master Bertelson. Breakfast is ready in the dining room.
I'll be there forthwith.
And you hear soft footsteps walk away outside.
I think he... is he gonna leave his stuff in the room? I guess he heads down, leaves a bag with some of his trinkets. I don't think he's planning to... He'll come back if he's gonna head out after breakfast.
You head back down the way that Norman showed you last night, passing a few closed doors, a few open doors, if you want to do your snooping now.
Yeah, some quiet door pushing open to peek through some cracks.
I think you find a small spiral staircase going up. You find a damp staircase going down, probably to a root cellar, a wine cellar, something like that. You find a door to a study. It's got a globe and a desk and a few oil lamps. Big portrait on the wall of somebody that looks sort of like Colobius Black looked in the portrait in the dining room. A little bit different. Maybe a longer nose. Maybe an ancestor. And you find the dining room. As you get in, Norman offers you a plate. You can see out that big glass door now that you thought might lead out to a garden does in fact lead out to a garden. There's a fountain that you can't tell if it's working right now because it's raining so hard. And beyond it, some hedges that kind of look like they might lead to a hedge maze. And on the table, there are a number of pastries and things that you don't have to keep warm to eat.
Is Janus the only one? Are there others here?
Norman gave you a plate. That's it.
Thank you, Norman. This is a lovely spread you've put before us. And what of my host and Silky? Where are they this morning?
Miss Black is tending to some business this morning. Hunter is around here somewhere, probably playing a game. Miss Clerk had to leave early this morning.
In this weather?
She had urgent business, as she said.
Well, fair enough. You didn't say that this was on the table, but I think Janus takes a large boiled egg in a shell that's on a little cone, and some kind of croissant with nuts crumbled on top, a little jelly filling poking out, and finds a place to sit in this room. Is this the dining room or a different room?
It's the dining room.
Yeah,
in the morning light, you can see that those darkened corners have upholstered chairs with intricately carved legs and small tables next to them. If you wanted to find a more comfortable seat than one of the dining room seats, or you could head back into the room with all the heads on the walls.
He's gonna head back into the room with the heads and find a more relaxing chair to sit in. Maybe try and find an angle where he doesn't feel quite as looked at. Not because he's going to do something sneaky, just because he's made uncomfortable by being constantly watched by Norman. Maybe did Norman walk away, or is he like standing in a corner?
No, Norman walked away, and you heard the small creak of a door somewhere off. But yeah, you find a seat on. There's like a chaise lounge. There's a little love seat with a small table next to it where you can put your plate down. And though you don't feel watched by Norman, do feel watched by all of the dead eyes of these trophies on the wall.
Takes a little spoon, cracks that egg, eats this egg, just kind of constantly looking around at the creepiness of the room as he stands here. I think he's actually gonna finish up breakfast quickly and gonna try and find a window that looks out into wherever the stable is to see if he can just catch an eye on his cart and his mule.
Yeah. You finish up your food and wander around a little bit, and you do find a window that looks out. You can see your cart set up under an awning next to the stable. You can see 2 midnight black horses in the stable, along with Bartram, your mule. He looks like he is being well fed, and as you watch, you see Atra in riding clothes out there brushing the horses and putting some food in a trough for them.
Well, it looks like Bertram's making some new friends. He takes a sip from a cup of coffee he forgot he took.
As you watch through the rainy window, you hear some quiet shuffling from out in the hall behind you.
What's that? He turns around. Quiet shuffling. Yeah, gonna check it out.
You go out in the hallway, peek around the corner, you see Hunter. His back to you, playing with, it looks like some toy soldiers on the ground, little white capes.
Good morning, Hunter. How are you this morning?
Ah, he is surprised by you. I'm fine. How are you?
Well, I'm doing all right. If I can conquer this what's the word? You know, might be coming down with a cold, personally, but I'll get over it.
Mm-hmm. You want to play?
Let me, well, as I said, possible illness, so I'll play from over here. What are we playing?
We're playing Fellowship versus Necromancers. Which one do you want to be?
Well, I wouldn't usually volunteer to be the Necromancers, but I feel like you're going to win this game, Hunter, so let's call you the Fellowship.
This sets out a few little tin skeletons and a little character with a billowing cape holding up an orb. Those ones are yours.
Ah, look at him. He's quite the fearsome brute, isn't he?
Mm-hmm. You see that his little characters all have their capes and swords lifted above their heads and shields.
Well, now, how's the game played exactly?
Just make him fight.
Okay. Well, this hooded gentleman's going to send all these bony fellows towards your sword-wielding men.
Ha! Ha!
Not quite a match.
It starts going swing, swing, swing.
Well, I've done my best.
You know you can bring the skeletons back. That's what the necromancer does.
Oh, so the game's
That's
not
why it's
over.
hard.
Oh. Well, everything you've done, I undo. He mimics the pose of the necromancer figure.
Holding an orb above your head.
Holding his coffee cup over his head.
He grabs a little one on a horse that has a spear with a little flag on it and moves it towards your necromancer.
Uh-oh. I might be in trouble.
My saint's gonna get your necromancer.
Not without a fight, I think.
They just bounce off each other a couple times.
Uh-huh. And I think Janus just flicks his own guy over with a finger.
Haha.
Oh, no. Thwarted.
Thanks for playing. What should we do now?
Well, what time of year is it? Shouldn't you be studying or learning or...
That's tomorrow. I don't have to do that today. Anyway, that's boring. He rubs his eyes a little bit.
Well, what's next on your agenda? What would you typically do on a day like today? Hard to decide, I suppose, when the weather is such.
Yeah, I don't like it inside. I would rather be outside, but it's not nice out.
Sounds like you're ready to go back to bed. Well, whatever you do, perhaps I'll leave you to it. If the weather clears up, I should make ready my horse and cart.
not supposed to stop raining. It's not what Mom said. Did you say something about a powder that helps you sleep and gives you good dreams?
So they say, Hunter. I've only experimented with it. Could have used some last night myself.
Yeah, can I have some?
One of your age, I would give a small sampling, and you can aid me in my research. Let me know the qualities and the capacity of your dreams. Come with me.
Where do you go?
They go to his room, and I think he's got like a leather briefcase that opens up has like a bunch of compartments, things tucked into little pouches, and he pulls out a little vial that has a kind of a pale blue powder with a cork stopper in the top of it.
Does it work?
I don't know.
Okay.
Should I roll to see if it works? And to what capacity?
No.
I think what you're saying is whether it does or doesn't, it's not gonna.
If you want it to work, I would say you have to use deep pockets. Otherwise, flip a light side point, which you don't have any currently.
I only get one deep pockets for the entire game.
Yeah.
The entire game, I only get one. I'm not going to use it.
I'm not going to use it on that.
We're going to end this game and I'll never have used it, but...
Possibly. He takes it and says, how much?
Let's see here. Do I have any extra containers? Janus pours about an eighth of it into a spare small glass container.
He looks at it and says, no, how much does it cost?
Seeing as you and your mother are hosting me, it's on the house. Just tell your friends, Bertelson's best.
Mother always says nothing's ever free.
Is that right? Well, if that's true, then I owe you quite a bit.
He nods and puts it in his pocket and says, okay, I'm gonna go to my room now.
And, do let me know how the quality of those dreams are.
And he walks off down the dimly lit hallway.
That's boy's a little bit unusual, but folks have said that about me too, so what can I say? He's in his room. It's raining. He's a little bit like Hunter. He's a little bit stir crazy. He's used to being outside all the time. Mm-hmm. He makes the bed really poorly. Norman's gonna change every sheet and blanket on that bed as soon as he leaves.
Yep. I think that somehow in the time that you had food and played with this kid, Norman came in and made your bed for you.
That's true.
Like, what? Everything is very neatly placed right now.
Yeah.
The dressing gown is folded on the bed with the cap folded on top of it. Maybe it's not the same one. It's a smaller one that'll fit you.
There must be 2 or 3 of those Normans walking around this manor.
There might be.
He shudders.
Well, he's stir crazy. Does he want to explore?
Yeah, it's quiet. He's alone. It's daytime, but there's just a couple candles. It's real dark.
Gloomy. Yeah.
I think he was really interested in those rooms that he walked by earlier. There was lots of intriguing and slightly spooky things going on.
Okay. As you go out, I want you to make that perception check you initially wanted to make for the rooms.
Okay.
It's going to be average, and I'm going to flip on it. So it's a red and a purple.
Okay. Perception check, red and purple. I don't think I can add anything to this. 3 successes and 2 threats. I've not failed all my checks tonight.
Yeah, so you go out and you start snooping a little bit. What did you want to find?
I think that Janus is just a very curious person. Is intrigued by the world around him. You know, there was the dream last night. This place is spooky. I think he is out to just admire a beautiful mansion And if mystery surrounds it, then all the better.
Okay. Janus is wandering the mansion, admiring the architecture, the nice crown molding. I think as he's looking, he spots those little doors, those little corners that Norman is probably moving through to move around the mansion quickly and without being seen. As Janus is looking around, he sees various other portraits, and by the state of decay of the cracking of the oil paint, he kind of puts together a chronology of the family that has lived here over the past few generations. He sees old portraits with people who all sort of have the same feature, the gaunt face and dark hair that you saw in Calobius Black. The portraits of young people growing up with their parents next to them. You find over an unlit mantle in a room that does not look like it is often visited a portrait of a young woman. The room is dustier. The old rug on the floor has sort of a musty smell, and you can see maybe a little bit of mold on the wall in the corner. This looks like it may have been a bedroom, and there are some dried flowers underneath the portrait. As you're wandering around looking at all these things, you see the staircase that goes up and down in the main hall, and you come down and you can see that room filled with all the taxidermied heads again. That hall, now you're noticing that there are more taxidermied things along the walls that you hadn't noticed when it was dark. You see trout, you see small creatures with little antlers, and as you think you've seen about all you can see, some time has passed, and you head back upstairs and wander around this big space. The hallway seems to almost go in a bit of a circle, and around the back of it you spot the rooms they're definitely locked, that belong to the people who live here all the time. And with your successes in perception, you notice that of all of the places that you've seen, these doors have a unique feature, that they have a little band of iron in front of the door. And as you make your way back to your room to maybe decide whether you want to just brave the rain and leave, or stick around another night because the rain has not let up and it is mid-afternoon now, I will flip my story point, because you hear, coming from down the hall, Hunter scream. Thank you for listening to this episode of Tales from the Grey Library. Thanks to Doug for playing on this episode. Check out Doug's art at voidboy.art. Tales from the Grey Library is produced by Nightcast Creative. To learn more about us and the podcast we make, visit nightcastcreative.com. If you like Tales from the Grey Library, be sure to listen to its parent podcast, The Other Place, wherever you listen to podcasts.